Hi guys, it's Tuesday, so it's me, Eleni. This week we're talking about childhood fantasies that are no longer. I remembered this fantasy I had when I was a kid, a teen, a tween, that died a very slow death. I just wouldn't give up on it. And this was the fantasy I had about England. When I was a kid, about 6 years old, my favorite author was Enid Blyton, the famous 5 series and the Secret 7 series. And they were about like a group of friends who would go away by themselves on their summer holidays, like either to aunts and uncles or grandmothers or grandfathers out in the countryside in England. And they'd go on all these adventures and had to solve these mysteries. I thought that if I ever went to England, that's what it would be like. I would have tea and I would eat scones and I would have cucumber sandwiches. And my friends and I, who had names like Julian and I don't remember others, but who had like these really British names, we would go on adventures and would walk through meadows. Another thing that added to the fantasy was, by the time I became a tween and I was living in Greece at the time, so England was quite close to me, I had a friend who was obsessed with British music and she loved Oasis, Blur, Take That. She was completely besotted by Robbie Williams. I was more a fan of the Irish band Westlife and the lead singer Ronan Keating. I remember this moment where I'm sitting on the bus in school with my headphones on and I'm listening to a Westlife song. Something about a bench in the rain and he loves her and he misses her and come back. I remember in that moment thinking, if only I can get to London and sit on a bench, Ronan Keating will fall in love with me. I thought it was a possibility. I think that's what's referred to as a flight of fancy. And another thing that added and fueled this fantasy of England was Princess Diana. I was just amazed that she was a real life princess. And so she fed into this fantasy that I could be a princess too, because I could marry Prince William. We were the same age. That one I was a bit more skeptical about, to tell you the truth. I was like, yeah, I'm sure everyone wants to marry him. This fantasy that I had of England as this magical place where all my dreams would come true kind of died slowly when I moved there. But the final nail in the coffin of that fantasy was the final year I lived there. I was living in Uxbridge, which is a small town outside London, part of London. It's like right at the end of the Metropolitan line. I would go into London really often. I had a friend who lived in Finchley Road, which is North London. I was visiting her one weekend and we were standing outside the Finchley Road tube station trying to decide what we were going to have for dinner, which supermarket we would go to. As we were talking, I noticed a figure coming close to me. So I thought someone was walking kind of past me, and thankfully I moved, because what was happening, and he was going to grab a feel of not my top half and not my back half. So you can understand what he was trying to grab. And thankfully I moved, so he missed. He kind of grazed my thigh. As he was doing this, he said something about my C-U-N-T. That is the moment the fantasy crashed and burned. England is not the place of my childhood dreams that was in the books, in the movies, in the music, in the stories of princesses and princes. No, England was just that. So I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed my story. I love your faces. Bye.